If you've been trying to start over, but nothing's working, it's not lack of motivation, it's not even your mindset. I want you to come closer because this episode is for you. Welcome to your Creative Reset, the podcast that helps you rethink how you live and work as we explore insights from human behavior, creative clarity, and biblical faith. Together, let's overcome self doubt, find direction, and build a life with purpose and freedom. This is Danix Dumdum, your host. Now close those 16 open tabs because your reset starts now. Have you ever experienced a deep-rooted change na gusto mong gawin sa buhay mo? Kasi nagsasawa ka na sa monotony, nagsasawa ka sa paulit-ulit, sa routine, and all those things. And you know deep within yourself na meron kang gustong palitan, meron kang gustong ayusin sa life mo. Hindi shallow change yung gusto mong mangyari, but a real reset, like an identity level change na gusto mong mangyari. And no matter how much you tried, something kept pulling you back. Parang ganito rin kasi yung nangyari sa akin for the past couple of years and even as I look back in my life. And you know, recently, I've shared on how I am really dialing in into becoming a coach. Kaya I'm really becoming more intentional in the things that I learned. And as I've been going through a deep identity work lately, meron akong natutunan that I didn't expect. Pero it is just a single concept that stopped me from what I was doing. Na parang may nag-click lang talaga sa akin. And that's what I wanted to share with you in this episode. It had to do with how we see time. Timeline ng life natin, timeline ng buhay natin. It's how we see time. And most of us have a default way of thinking about time. How it moves, what it means, paano nangyayari yung mga bagay-bagay, paano nagfo-flow yung time. We treat it na past as fixed, the present as limited, and the future as not yet. So we see time as something that we move through, forward, maybe slowly, maybe with a struggle. Pero what if time wasn't just something that we moved through, but something we could actually reshape? So ito yung bagay na natutunan ko, and what I learned really changed how I make decisions, how I set goals, even how I think about my past. Na-realize ko, I've been letting the wrong version of myself take the lead. So in this episode, I want to share this lens with you and how a simple shift in the way you look at time might unlock the change you've been wanting to happen in your life. So meron akong dalawang model of time na natutunan. The first one is the sequential model of time o yung linear. Linear lang yung time, which is past equals present equals future. So linear lang siya, very straightforward kumbaga. So you live as if your past determines your present, na yung present mo naman na yun ang nagdi-dictate sa future mo. Parang tama naman eh. Kung ano ka ngayon, it's because of your past experiences, past trauma, past na mga nangyari sa buhay mo, your history, 'di ba? Your lineage, your family background. Lahat na nangyari sa in the past, it determines kung sino ka ngayon sa present. At kung ano ka ngayon sa present, most likely, magre-result yon sa future mo. So, kung iisipin mo yon, tama naman. It's logical. Responsible kung iisipin mo siya na gano'n. Pero if you have to take another look, it feels restrictive. What does this model do? Ano yung tinuturo nitong model ng time na to sa atin? Yung past equals present equals future. It takes away yung kung anong meron tayo na control over our lives. You're just waiting for change to happen. Ito yung feeling na we're stuck in a script. Kasi ito na yung nangyari eh. Eh di ba nga we cannot change the past? So dahil nangyari na yun, wala ka na magagawa sa present mo. Yan na yun. So just live with it. Ano pang meaning nun? Improvements ngayon, medyo slow. Kapag may gusto kang i-improve sa sarili mo, kapag may gusto kang baguhin, incremental yung change. Kumbaga, natu-2x mo lang siya. Nadadoble mo lang, natitriple, o sige, gagawin na natin quadruple to the highest level na yun. Kasi dinadrag mo yung past experiences mo forward. You're trying to make small changes, baby steps, iti-tweak mo yung mga bagay na nag-work, iti-tweak mo yung mga bagay na hindi nag-work, tapos ida-double down mo yung mga bagay na effective. So, kumbaga, ganun yung nangyayari. Kaya, incremental lang yung changes. Ang nangyari pa nito, yung mga self-doubt, yung mga fear, nadadamay sila, nahihila sila to your present. Nare-reinforce ko ano yung mga past beliefs na meron ka, nare-reinforce sila into your present every time na nagtatry kang magbago. Every time that you try to shift your paths. Yun yung sinasabi nung sequential model of time. Now, I have another model. which is a more accurate view of time. Yung future is equals your present is equals your past. So kumbaga, binaliktad niya yung timeline. In this model ngayon, time, it becomes a tool. Nagiging instrument na lang siya, hindi na siya parang trap. Kasi 'di ba yung unang model ang nangyayari parang wala ka na magagawa sa past mo eh. Yun na yun, nangyari na yun, so live with it. This time, nagkakaroon ka ng mas control over the life that you want. So you start with the future that you want, not based on fantasy, but on the vision that you have for yourself. Yung present mo ngayon will be guided by that future that you wanted to happen. Ang nangyayari ngayon, yung past and yung future mo, nagiging tool na lang sila na pwede mong gamitin on how you will operate yung present decisions mo. So your present determines the meaning of your past, and then yung future mo naman ang magdedetermine who you are and what you do in the present. So ikaw, yung present self mo, when you look at your past, ma-realize mo life happens through me, not to me. So mabibigyan mo ng bagong meaning yung past mo. And then, yung future na nilulook forward mo, instead of that being something that will happen, you can start living based on that vision that you have for yourself. Na yung decisions na gagawin mo is based on who you wanted to become. As if ikaw na yung taong yun. Your future gives you a frame to make better decisions today. And then your present gives new meaning to your past. Kahit pangit yung past mo, kahit may mga parts doon na masakit, but because you give new meaning to it, mas nagiging maayos yung present mo. Mas meron kang identity based on who you wanted to become. So, ginagamit mo na lang yung past mo to raise your floor. Ano yung standards na meron ka? Yung, I've been through this, so kailangan kong gumawa something differently para hindi ko na siya ma-experience ngayon. So, nililevel up mo yung standards mo, yung floor mo. Hindi mo na, you will no longer ask what happened to me, but what do I want to create from here? These concepts sound simple. They're just concepts. But how do we actually see these two models of time in action sa mga buhay natin? Paano siya nagiging reality? Let me share my experience on how this becomes true in us. No? When I started dipping my toes in the coaching and mentoring space, ang una kong instinct was, nung nag-iisip ako ng program ko, ng i-offer ko, ano ba yung alam ko? Ano ba saan ba ako may experience? And because I had experience running a creative agency, yung first idea ko ng program was how to start your own creative agency. So I'm teaching freelancers na hindi lang sila maging solo, but to really build their own team and eventually serve more clients. On paper, it made sense, 'di ba? Parang ay ang ganda. Dahil yun yung experience niya, dun din siya kumuha ng i-offer as a coach, 'di ba? I've done it, I've been there, meron akong proven, quote-unquote, pathway towards it. And it was good. The outline was great, very strategic. It's like a real corporate creative agency and how you, as a freelancer, can get there. But looking back, ngayon ko lang na-realize na kaya pala during those times, hindi ko siya ma-scale. I wasn't able to fully make it happen the way that I wanted to grow it the way I wanted to have, the number of mentees that I really wanted. Hindi siya imposter syndrome yung naranasan ko before. Hindi din siya lack of confidence. In fact, nakapag-launch ako, nagawa ko naman siya eh. I had mentees, I had the program laid out. Pero I felt restricted. Kasi deep down, I knew I no longer wanted to serve corporate clients. Ngayon ko lang na-realize to as I was learning the time is not linear. I no longer wanted to serve corporate clients. Dati akala ko because of budget constraints lang kaya I don't want this space anymore. Pero nung nagkaroon ako ng mas malaking project for one client alone, I've seen how toxic this industry can get. And I couldn't imagine bringing someone into that space and pretending it's the dream. Gets? Why would I guide people into something I've already outgrown? Dun ko na-realize when I look back, hindi na to yung gusto ko. I was building from what I've done before. I was a corporate slave. I was a struggling creative in an agency before. Kaya based doon sa experience ko na yun, dun ako gumawa ng coaching program. I was letting my past success decide what I was qualified to offer. And that's the problem with the old model. It only gives us permission based on what we've already survived, not based on what we actually want. Kumbaga, titignan lang natin kung ano na ba yung mga na-accomplish natin tapos we will just double down on that. So ang nangyayari, very linear lang yung growth. Very very incremental lang yung changes. Now that I'm building a new coaching program, again, I know that I couldn't build from that old self anymore. Kaya I've been asking myself, what would the future version of me choose to offer instead? Yung answer hanggang ngayon, it's still a process of me clarifying that. The answer isn't polished yet, but it is real. And it reminded me that clarity doesn't come from credentials. It comes from knowing what no longer fits and choosing not to wear that anymore. Tas dun ko na-realize pa na it wasn't just about coaching. When I look back at my life, it was about how I've been living my whole life. From roles, to goals, to relationships. I was still letting my history or my past lead the decisions that I make in my present. Maybe you've been doing the same without even realizing it. How are these models showing up in your life? Most people, they set goals by looking back. But your future self set goals differently. They use goals as a filter of alignment. Hindi siya parang box lang na ipoprove mo yung sarili mo. Hindi siya typical na checklist. 'Di ba sabi nga nila SMART goals, yung specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's a very linear way of setting goals. Pero sabi nga ni Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. Ibig sabihin, yung past mo, it could inform you, but it's your imagination that will define your future. Hindi ito fake it till you make it mantra ha. It is asking, what would your future self do? How would you set goals this time? Knowing na ganun pala siya, how would you set goals this time? Sasabihin mo sa sarili mo, gusto mong magbago ng career, gusto mong magbago ng lifestyle, but you keep applying for the roles that look exactly like your last one. Basically, hindi ka nagpapalit ng job role, nagpapalit ka lang ng company, but it's the same role. You say you want to start something new, but you keep telling yourself, wala naman akong background dyan eh. Hindi pa ako ready. Hindi ako magiging magaling dito. Or hindi pa ako magaling dito. So, tsaka na pag na-prove ko na talaga na magaling na ako. Kaya hindi para sa akin yung business. Pero sabi mo, gusto mong magsimula ng something new. Something na tatawagin mong para sa'yo na talaga. You know, a job, a relationship, or an environment that's no longer healthy. Alam mong meron ka ng mga bagay na yun, pero hindi ka maalis. You stay in it because you've already invested too much. You know, you wanted to offer something online. It could be a service, a message, a content, a story, pero you feel stuck because you've never done it before. Baka cringe, baka kung ano sabihin ng ibang tao. So, nag-a-assume ka na hindi siya para sa'yo. Ang nangyayari, you also water down your ideas, your creative work because you're trying to be more practical or more realistic. But in reality, you're just scared to be seen in a new way. You've already changed inside. Alam mo sa sarili mo may nagbago na sa mga desires mo, sa mga gusto mong gawin, sa dreams mo, sa mga achievements na gusto mong ma-reach. Pero yung goals mo, they still look like they belong to the older version of you. Bakit kaya? Bakit kaya you downplay what you want? Alam mo, honestly, hindi ko alam bakit negative ang tingin natin sa mga salitang, uy, nagbago ka na. Hindi ko gets bakit negative yung tingin natin sa phrase na yon. When a person change, pag binitawan natin yung line na, uy, nagbago ka na, it sounds like we're mocking the person. It sounds like it's different. But what if you live from your future? This time, you choose goals that will match the life you want. Even if it doesn't make sense to other people, especially to those who knew the old version of you. Pero hindi mo iniintindi yun. You make goals based on the life that you wanted to have. You create the offer, you start that project, you launch that idea, not because you're ready, but because you're finally honest about what you want. You let the future version of you decide your boundaries now. You say no to the things that you used to say yes to because yung future self mo would never settle for something like that. You stop trying to earn your way into a new season. Ang ginagawa mo, you start living like it already belongs to you. You reset your language from someday I want to be like this, someday I wanted to be that. Pinapalitan mo yun, ginagawa mo siyang today I move like someone who's already headed there. You change your narratives from one day, you change it to day one. You use your past to raise your floor, to raise your standards, to raise yung mga things that you would accept. At hindi mo binababaan yung ceiling mo. You don't lower your potential, but in fact, you raise your floor. Hindi kailangan alam mo na lahat. It's a process nga eh. Ang importante, alam mo who's calling the shots. Is it your fear, your history, your past trauma, or your future self? Alam mo, isa pa sa na-discover ko, this reframing of time isn't just psychology. It's also biblical. God doesn't lead people based on their history. He moves based on their future identity. In fact, si Lord, nire-rename niya yung people based on who they're becoming, not what they've done. God renames people based on the vision He has for them, based on the promise that He has for them, not on what they have done. Example, si Abraham. You know, Abraham has many children, di ba? Father Abraham. Si Abraham, the father of many nations, bago siya naging Abraham, ang pangalan niya muna Abram. Abram lang. Pero pinalitan ni Lord yung pangalan niya ng Abraham, which means father of many nations. Ginawa yan ni God bago pa siya nagkaroon ng anak. Bago siya magkaanak, tinawag na siya ni Lord ng Abraham, father of many. Si Simon, si Peter. Si Peter, upon this rock, I will build my church. Bago naging Peter yung pangalan niya, Simon ang pangalan niya talaga. Pinalitan ni Jesus ng Peter, which means the rock. Nangyari yun, kahit si Peter, unstable pa siya, impulsive pa siya. Ganun pa yung personality niya. Pero pinalitan ni Lord yung pangalan niya para maging stable siya, para maging rock siya. Si Paul, the Apostle Paul, Saul. Yun yung una niyang pangalan. Tapos pinalitan ni Jesus ng Paul. From persecutor, ginawa siyang apostle. Si Paul dati pinipersecute lang niya yung mga Christians noon. Pero he has become one of the greatest apostles ni Jesus. Radical, re-identified yung naging change sa kanya by grace. So God doesn't wait until you're qualified. He speaks from who He sees and invites you to live from that place. Binibigyan kanya ng identity-based vision, not incremental steps. Hindi sinasabi sa'yo ni Lord na, ito, 3-year plan, sige, gawin mo. Ang sinasabi niya, ito yung gusto ko sa'yo, walk in it. Ito yung vision that I have. Alam mo, minsan yung desire na gusto mo, yung transformation na gusto mong mangyari sa buhay mo, sa sarili mo. Hindi lang yun basta ginusto mo eh. Minsan it's a divine calling na binabago ka ni Lord na meron siyang gustong baguhin sa'yo. Binibigyan kanya ng desire. Si Abraham, binigyan siya ng massive identity. Diba ginawa siyang father of many nations. Wala pang anak, no roadmap, meron lang siya promise and decision to move by faith. Your future identity is already named and seen by God. Even if you can't prove it on paper yet, ang kailangan mo lang gawin to live by faith. If your future self, kung sino man o ano man yung maging ikaw, was making today's decision, what would they choose? What if your present actions weren't based on fixing your past, but following your future? You don't need to have a 5-year plan. You just need to decide, sino ba yung nagli-lead sa life ko now? Is it my past experiences? Or is it the future that I wanted to have? If this is you, and you're finally saying to yourself how happy you are to feel seen in this podcast, allow me to see you more. Send me an email. I'd love to help you go deeper. Help you process it for real. Hindi lang yung makikinig ka tas mag-move on ka, but to actually take the next step. Send me an email, yourcreativereset@gmail.com. Also, if this episode helped, please subscribe, share it on your socials, and tag at Your Creative Reset Podcast. Why? Because it helps more people find their own reset, especially those who are tired of shrinking to fit their past. Your creative reset starts when you use your time as a tool to learn from your past, live from your future, and finally feel in control of the present. Thank you for having your creative reset with me. I'm Danex. If this episode helped you, share it with someone who might need the same reset today. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the show and give it a quick review. It helps us reach more people who feel stuck with self-doubt so they can also find clarity and creative freedom. Sometimes, the reset you need is a return to who He made you to be. Again, this is Danix Dumdum, and see you on your next creative reset.